people are keep buying. I raised it to 99, $100. People buying it. So there's I bought a higher model that's cost $70. We sold it for 150, 200, even 300. People bought it like crazy. So that was my very first product. I'm like, woo, this is magical. Like I made like 40 grand in like first 2 months.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a very special call. I have Ankit Patel, an entrepreneur that has been in the Amazon journey for some time. This is less about what we've been able to teach him in the inner circle and more about an entrepreneurial journey for what Amazon private label has been able to provide for someone that's dedicated to learning and to building a business. So I'm super excited to talk to you today. How you doing?
Hey, Brandon, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm doing super fantastic. So Q4 is awesome, and AWS is down, so I don't know how many sales I have made, but hey, I'm sure it's happening in the back end.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like I was having some issues searching earlier, and I'm like, oh, I hope no one else that's buying stuff from me is having trouble searching on Amazon. Maybe sales, be impacted a little bit, but it's not a big deal. It'll recover. Um, so how long ago did you actually start selling on Amazon?
Yeah, it's funny. So I started in late 2015. I would say close to October, September, October is when I started.
Did you start with private label, or how did you first hear about it, and what did you start, and what were you doing originally?
Yeah, so I'm a healthcare worker myself. I'm sure many of you heard. I'm a radiology technologist, so I started with an X-ray job. That was the very first job I went to college. It's a really long story, but I made a list. When we first came to America, I needed exactly $40,000 to survive, buy an apartment, pay the rent, buy a car, insurance. I basically calculated everything. So I went to the counselor and said, hey, man, what can I study that's going to give me 40 grand a year? So he says, like, no one ever asked me this. Like, usually they say they have a certain passion and stuff. And you're the first one to say, oh, I want to make 40 grand. So tell me what to study. And I said, I don't want to go for 4 years. I want to go the quickest. So he said, oh, well, become an X-ray tech, right? So that's how I got started. And then obviously I loved what I was doing. And then, it was tough. But ever since I was a little, I was wanted to have my own business. So I decided, all right, well, if you gotta, and then, well, actually, I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, right? One of my cousin, when I was visiting India, gave me a gift, and I read it on the way back home to the States in the plane, and I only read like 40 pages, and I never read a book in my entire life. That was the very first kind of book I read outside of school and college, right? So, and as soon as I read it, it's like, oh my goodness, like I had no idea why the hell I was going to school or college. I thought I'd get a job. So I said, all right, I got to do something, right, to take an action after whatever I learned in that book. And I said, all right, well, what can I do? So first, what can I do to make that 40 grand so I get a job? Now, in order to quit that job, what do I got to do to make money, right? So I come across selling products. Obviously, eBay was a very big thing back then. And my cousin had a cell phone accessory business back in India. So we went to the market and I bought all kind of wholesale things that I can buy. And they had fake iPad cases. Boy, I was so excited to buy that for $10 over there, put it on eBay for $80 minus, and I can ship it from India with using DHL in 3 days. So I was making like, buy it for $10, so $30 cost. I was making like $50. So it was so good while I sold it, and eBay, I finally caught up with me and shut me down. So I got stuck with a bunch of accessories. So here we go. Here goes the business start, failed right away. But yeah, I know, okay, you learn from your mistakes, and I keep going. So my very first product was actually Christmas laser light, right? Like my mom was looking at that QVC in 2015 when they first came out. They said, hey, you could light up your house with only one light. I'm like, this is so cool. I went right on Alibaba, searched for laser lights, and there we go. And I said, all right, let's post it on Amazon. And back then, I have no idea what title means, what keyword means, what ranking means. I thought you could just put it on Amazon and magically it will start selling. So, and I had no idea, but then and there was a sponsored, ads. So I ran the ads and we bought like lights for like $30. We sold it for 50. It didn't stop. Then I raised the price for 70. It didn't stop sell. It's people are keep buying. I raised it to 99, $100. People buying it. So there's I bought a higher model that's cost $70. We sold it for 150, 200, even 300. People bought it like crazy. So that was my very first product. I'm like, woo, this is magical. Like I made like 40 grand in like first 2 months. So yeah, that was my very first product. We didn't have any brand. I just bought it from China, bring it to the States, ship it to FBA, start selling, run an ad. That was a huge margin, and there we go. Everything started ever since. Rest is history.
We were one of the first sellers of wireless chargers on Amazon. Now, what people don't understand is like 2015, 2016, that time, the Chinese sellers really hadn't come full force into Amazon yet. It was like they were starting to, right? And so Shenzhen being where most of these things were built, most of the factories and most of the sellers were not selling the stuff being made there on Amazon. But then like when they started to come into the market, that's when they started like, what it was is China started a program to give money to them for how much they would export. And they were happy making very small margins because they were actually getting a kickback from the government on top of it. So they were pumping all of these sales in order to get the kickback. And so they would compete with you on price point with no problem and really okay with single digit margins. And so those products that we were doing really well on all of a sudden would die. Plus they started playing dirty. They were actually going to classes and learning how to do black hat tactics to attack competitors. And so we had a lot of issues with that as well. So after you started to make a lot of money with your Christmas lights, so you were doing private label from the very beginning, basically. What was the direction that you went to next? Like, did you stick with home, with electronics, or what was your next brand, or what is the major brand that you really kicked off?
Yeah, so it's funny, like I didn't just start off the private label. I was actually doing retail art back then, right? Like I was following a couple other guys who would say, oh, we do dumpster dive and get those coupons out. And so I would go to like Sam's Club, all the stores I can, right? Target, Walmart. So I did retail art, and even garage sales, buy books for 25 cents. Even went to
so you were following like Chris Green, and you were following a couple of the other guys that were in the market at that time.
Correct. Back then, like I started to learn what a sales rank was, right? Like a lot of people has figured it out. And I said, you know what? So I bought this guy's course for like $600. And it was all about retail art. And I said, you know what? If I can spend thousands of dollars every semester to learn in the school for freaking humanities arts that doesn't even interest me, I can spend $600, buy a course, learn, and they make more money, right? So I'm like, well, spending a couple grand that's gonna make you thousands of dollars is no brainer. So yeah, I did retail art and all that. Basically, I had to make an income to launch the private label brand, right? Because you got to advertise it, you can't rank. So I started to learn all of that, which was a good decision. So along with all of that, I did start a private label brand, which was a kitchen brand, which I don't do anymore. So I built it ice cream scoops and all kind of amazing stuff that no one else was selling. And I made a really nice A+ content, come up with a story, how I was aerospace engineer and how I designed this ice cream scoop. So it's sturdy, it doesn't hurt your wrist. And I did all kind of research, like how the big boys would do it and come up with a story. Like I'm not an aerospace engineer, but obviously my mind was working like it, right? So I said, all right, well, what's the harm in stating that I'm an aerospace engineer type of stuff? So man, people would buy $2 ice cream scoop for $12, $13, So purchase cost was $3 with Amazon fee, $5. I was making $5 profit on that, right? So I sold 15,000 of those. So that's 45,000 profit right there. So that's how I started. Then I launched some spatulas and, utensil sets. And oh boy, I tell you what, people has failed these Chinese suppliers are terrible in quality control. I don't even know why they sell this crap, So every ice cream scoop starts to break, they starts to get a rusting. And I'm like, dude, you making an ice cream scoop. Why does it rust? Why do I have to tell you to make sure it doesn't rust? Why does it break? Why do I have to tell you to it doesn't break? So anyway, so I failed on scoops after that. I replaced people with 2 scoops. If it breaks one, stops from bad reviews coming in. And this the utensil sets had a grip on it that comes out. Man, he made a defective grip handles. If you just pull off, it comes right off. So all he did is put a friggin' tape around it and slide it right on. And you think customers won't find out? So I failed again on it. I'm like, come on, guys, stop failing me. I would have made a lot more money in my kitchen brand if I would have done a better quality control myself. So
Oh
here's
man, I definitely have been through the same thing where we hit a home run. We were first to market. We crushed the launch, and then all of a sudden, negative reviews start pouring in because of poor quality or quality control issues. And
exactly.
it's like, what if you had just done the inspection or something to make sure that didn't happen, right? Like, you always wonder if that could have continued. You'd still be selling ice cream scoops today for $12 as an aerospace engineer.
Oh, brother, you have no idea how many ice cream scoops are being sold on Amazon, and people are crazy to spend $12 where they can just pick one up from Walmart for $3, right? So yeah,
But they
that's
weren't
Amazon.
designed by an aerospace engineer like yours.
Well, yeah, it was no brainer, but yeah, the story was pretty solid, right? So story is what sells, not the product.
Yeah, so be careful, guys. Don't make up too big of stories, right? Like, you got to be careful that because you might get investigated and go, get in trouble. But um, that was a stepping stone for you into another brand and another. What was next after that?
Yeah, so after that, I just
And what year
jumped
are we
on.
in at this point after the ice cream scoops?
Well, at this, we are talking 2016. All right. So I
Okay.
went to electronics category after that. I don't know why I did that. After all these failures, that's the last category you should go in. And boy, I started in electronics and even more failures, like totally people calling. Yeah, people has no idea who we are, as a seller on Amazon back then. People say, so don't buy from this people. Obviously people hate when they see Chinese manuals or Chinese writing on it. People are called like, oh, these people are terrorists. I'm like, oh, come on. So yeah, we failed. I failed miserably even in electronics, but I kept at it. Every single lesson I learned with all the failures, I keep applying it. Right? People said, oh, okay, well, this is Chinese. Okay, well, then remove the Chinese, put in English there. People don't like this packaging, then remove this, put it what they want. And then keep launching it again and again until I get massive success. So I had so many terrible failures, but then after applying on this electronics brand, uh, boy, everything just fell into place with all this quality control, getting rid of this, giving people the English version of it, the best features product, and make it easy, right? And it just took off. After that, that one success you get, it basically wiped out all the failures that I had. And ever since then, it's just building brands. And here we are today, is launching more products surrounding this electronics brand.
It's incredible to see, and this is what I tell everybody that is starting Amazon, that has never sold before, is that the common theme between every single, without fail, every single 7 and 8 figure plus seller that I know making millions of dollars on Amazon, every single one of them has failed in some way with at least one product. But they've learned from those failures, and more importantly, they've never given up. And I've seen it many times where people will launch a product that doesn't go well, and they make every excuse as to why this business is not good, instead of learning from it and applying the knowledge and trying again and seeing that other people are having success. And if you tell them, hey, all these other people are, well, it's too late. Like, I can't do it anymore. This guy has all, and they make every excuse in the world. And I see it even on posts in some of these other groups with a lot of sellers, where people will tell other people, don't start selling on Amazon, it's a scam. Or and granted, maybe they learned from someone who was teaching them outdated information on stuff that works a very small percentage of the time. And there's a lot of those gurus out there that are fake gurus and scumbags. But the reality is that if you put your head down, there's a steep learning curve. And if you climb that learning curve, and if you fail, you learn from it, and you fail, you learn from it. Eventually you're going to win and you learn from it. And then the wins come more often. And so we're hoping that we can, help people to be successful more than they fail, but also know that you're not 100% in this game. You're not going to bat 1,000. To this day, like Jennifer and I launch products. Out of 20 products we launch a month, 75% of them are successful or at least make us money, and we still lose money on some of them, but it's a numbers game. So we fast forward to electronics. We also failed and had some issues in electronics. We had a cable. We were originally doing some cable, a splitter. Did you ever do the splitter that was for the iPhone? It had like the lightning that was a dual charger and audio cable.
I did those. I bought those for media, and boy, those sold like a hot.
They sold like crazy, right?
Yeah.
but the success, like the defect rate on them was like 20%. So you would have to send new ones, but the margin was insane. They cost $1 or $2 and you could sell them for 12, 15 bucks. So yeah, that was a very good cable. Like we walked the same path around the same time. So it's very interesting. And we made some money, but we learned some lessons, right? So let's move into 2017, 2018. What did you do next?
Yeah, so 2017, 2018 is, I have this good product in electronics, and I'm just basically building brands, and I'm into brand building now, building an audience, giving them the best experience. Like you said, competing against these Chinese black hatters has been my toughest challenge on Amazon. Like, obviously everybody thinks that your product is the best, and that's fine, but my product was truly the best. It provides the most number of features, the best experience in terms of pricing is much better than even the top brands in America, right? And because I don't have the huge overhead, I was able to build a product at the brand that was doing good, but it wasn't doing great because I wasn't doing black hat. Right? Like no giving products away and rebate after 5-star reviews, none of those, because I believed in my product. So 2018, man, I worked so hard. I would figure out what kind of content we can bring out so people know about our product more, how we can provide a customer service in a way that slowly but steady, one step at a time, is people will get our products in their housing, and then basically keep grinding towards making that experience better and better and better. And that product is becoming more and more and more sellers. So all these years from 2018 to 2020, these products, I have launched many. I failed many products also, but you just got to discontinue it if you fail. Obviously, I didn't lose money because I have a good brand that I build around it. The community you build will totally support it. They'll provide you good reviews without even asking for it, even though they'll buy it at full price. So brand building and providing that a big American brand was my big goal, because, obviously I want my, whenever I'm ready to exit, I don't want to go and sell to the aggregator if I don't have to. I'd rather have the top brands come and buy it, right? Like that native brand, a stupid deodorant. I mean, how cool a deodorant can be that P&G got to come and acquire for $100 million, right? So that is the power of building the brand. When people loves you, there is no excuse for big brands to not buy your brand for top dollars. So that's
when did you graduate college?
Oh God, I graduated in 2010.
Oh, 2010. So this whole time you're working as an X-ray tech, right?
Correct.
And so even through 2016, 2017, you're working as an X-ray tech and making your $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. You're making $45,000 profit on one product. Now you're building a real brand. You're making really good money. How much, when you launched that first brand in 2018, what was your revenue like in 2018? I want to know revenue and profit 2018.
Yeah. So 2018, it was a little bit over $150,000, I would say, roughly.
In revenue?
No, not in revenue. In net, I'm talking net profit.
Net profit. Okay.
Revenue, I don't even know.
So you're working your $40,000, $50,000 a year job. You're making $150,000 profit selling. And then 2019, you make even more money.
Correct.
Right? You're building out still this electronics brand. Is this your current brand? This current brand that you're working?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
This is the only brand I have.
So 2019, which is still 2 years ago, like how much money did you do in revenue? How many SKUs do you have?
Well, I had in 2019, I launched a couple more products. Boy, I failed miserably again. But I'm talking 5 SKUs. And the big ticket item, right? My product is over $100, right? So people would definitely spend a lot of money for it. But in 2019, the revenue grew, I would say, anywhere between close to $300,000. But I was the 7-figure seller in 2019, right? So revenue wise, it was 3-4 million in 2019. In 2020, it was 7 million in revenue, and 2020 it went over 15 million. Sorry, 2021. So this
amazing.
Year,
so this year you're on pace to do close to 15 million.
Plus, yes.
Yeah,
I'm just
plus.
counting Amazon USA 15 alone.
So at this point, you finally decide to leave your job.
Well, actually, I quit my job 3 years ago.
Oh,
so
it's 3 years ago now. Okay.
I become an MRI tech. So from 40 grand, I went to almost $80,000 of salary.
So you're furthering your career because you had to take classes for that. You had to actually invest in your own career to double your salary.
Correct.
Okay.
I had to play it safe because I am the family. I'm the main guy who feeds my family, right? So what happens if you fail in Amazon? Failure happens in business. If you fail, I already got the degree, right? I mean, I'm not going to quit my job until I have a solid goal. So I have made a goal in 2017 that when you got to make a goal. And this has been the biggest secret of my success, whatever it is today. I have made a goal, a 5-year goal, right? Like, whenever I reach that 3 times the salary, so my check would come $3,000 per month after taxes, right? So, which is not a lot. So I said, whenever I make that $9,000 on Amazon per month, that's when we're going to quit. So that's when I quit in 2018, a year after my second daughter was born. And well, I now I don't have to go to my 9-to-5 full-time job, but I kept as a PRN. That means I only go in whenever they call me, like if someone wants a vacation or something, and I can say yes or no. But now I'm full-time. And just last week, I quit even that PRN job because now I can't do it. They called me 3 times in the middle of the night. And I'm like, guys, I can't do this no more. I can't be called in because.
So that's what it was. Okay. So I had heard that you had just recently quit, but you'd quit full-time 2018.
Correct.
But it was just recently that you quit even being on call. So you kind of still had that side gig lined up just in case, because you love the people that you worked with. And plus it was still like a little bit of security line, but now you're on pace to do over 15 million. And you're like, look, it's not even worth my time to go in there. It's going to cost me too much money to go work for you guys.
Correct. Yeah. Now I'm responsible. I mean, I have a team. I got to mentor them, right? Because the team's got to do the work. If all the work stops, the brand stops growing, right?
How big is your team now?
Well, I have 10 people in my team, or 11 now. I just hired a writer.
And where are the majority of them based?
So I have Filipino teams in customer care. I have team in Bangladesh who are designers, full-time designers, 2 full-time designers, 1 motion graphics designer, which is videographer, and the 3D animator full-time who can. So I haven't done a product photography in like last 3 years, I would say. Anything I give them 6-angle photos, 3D model is ready. You can use it in video, photos, anything.
Amazing.
So none of those. You can launch any SKUs with 3D model and it looks even beautiful than the regular photography. So you don't have to go to photography and none of those. So they are trained that they can even make an infographic, that all 7 images without even me instructing them, which is good. So finally, if I launch a product, all the images would be ready.
So you have customer service Philippines, you have them in Bangladesh for your graphics and your content. Correct. And who else do you have?
Then I have a person in China who are my foot in the ground. So she handles all kind of communications with different suppliers, because I don't want to be like, I used to talk with suppliers till 1-2 in the morning and I'm missing my time with my family, my kids. I'm not in the bed, right? So I have done it. I have totally grinded in order to get here. I mean, don't let me show you all the shining star over here, guys. Doing 8 figure is not easy unless you are very extremely lucky, which in my case I'm not, right? But it's possible. If you work hard, things will fall into place looking back. So I have a person in China who handles all kind of communication. She basically sends me a consolidated to-do list. Even though I pay her salary, she gives me to-do list, so I don't have to waste my time. So I just get it done, give it to her, and that's it, right? And if I need to talk to Chinese or engineering team or whatever, then obviously I'll stay in the office, have a meeting, and things like that.
How many SKUs do you have currently?
Well, currently I am left with 3 right now, launching the new product. So yeah, so I don't have a lot of SKUs, but again, it's like I have an Apple kind of thinking. Steve Jobs is my biggest hero, and I learned from it. So basically all I do is copy what he does, right? So you don't have to, in my opinion, don't get me wrong, a lot of people has a lot of successful SKUs and they make a ton of money. But I want to build a one good product that sells 8 figure every year. And I wanted to take this brand to that level where every American family would want one, right? So that's the type of thinking I have. Like when Steve Jobs built that computer, like everybody will have it. When he builds that iPod, it's a damn music player. It does nothing else but plays a damn song. But everybody in the school is walking around with the white headphones, right? So that's the iconic stuff. So that is what get Apple started. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but then they launched an iPhone, right? It's just one stupid phone, iPhone 3 or whatever it is. But everybody's standing in the line, including myself, to get it. So that's the thinking I have. Like whether you're Samsung, you're launching a TV or whatever it is, right? In electronics, like my goal is that I want every American family to own my one branded product. And that is my goal for the next 2 to 3 years.
That's fantastic. So that brings us to that point. Like, so outside of like then your boots on the ground in China, your team in Bangladesh doing your content, the customer service, do you have anyone, you have a copywriter? Are they here?
Yeah, he's from India. So I just finally hired a copywriter from India.
Okay.
So,
and do you have anyone here in the States?
No, just me and my wife. I got this whole entire 6,000 square foot office. I can have 40 people work through here. There are many offices, everything, but it's just me and my wife. I handle the Amazon side. On the other side of the office, my wife handles all the returns.
All right, fantastic, man. It's a truly inspirational story. And so you do have goals for long-term for exit. And so you said 2 or 3 year goal. Let's hear about it. What is the next step? Like you do want to exit, you're building a true brand. What is your number that you need to hit and before you walk away? Because you had your number that you before you walked away your job, right? Your 3 times your earnings. So what is your number before you walk away from this brand?
So it's funny, right? Like when you're making $40,000 to $80,000 a year, right? And then finally, let me back up a little bit. I don't want to take a lot of time, but I actually was working at the VA hospital, which is a government hospital that pays your retirement. So when I quit and that was my last job that I actually quit. So when I quit that job, my mom cried. It's like, how stupid are you to quit your government job? And I try to explain my mom, like, Mom, this is bigger than that $70,000 government job. You don't understand. And Mom's like, oh, you're gonna, like it's gonna be bad. It's like no one quits government job. You had your retirement. No one can fire you, even though you're bad, even though you don't even do anything, right? So I mean, she couldn't eat for a couple of days when I quit my job, right? But looking back now, my mom is very happy and all that, right? So now I was making $70,000, and my goal when to quit the job was $9,000, and I was very happy. Now I'm making over $1 million. And now I'm looking for an even bigger number, right? So the number is a funny thing, right? No, you always make a bigger and bigger and bigger goal. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, like what is the exact number I want that's going to exit my brand. But hey, I mean, my passion is to build a true brand, and hopefully one of these bigger companies sees the value and will acquire it at a good, fair value.
Yeah, the goal for you with what you're doing from a brand building perspective and from an innovative perspective is not to sell to an aggregator for 5x. You're looking for someone that's going to understand the value of the brand that you've developed and can help explode the potential of it.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, I love the vision. I love what you're doing, and it's never enough, right? Like we set a goal, and then we hit it, or we don't, or we're close, and then we set another goal the next year, and it's like, well, what is when is it enough? And it's hardly ever enough, right?
Correct. It's funny, right? Like you hit that 8 figure. So last year I was 7 figure. I just had an interview with Helium 10, and now I'm an 8 figure. And last year the podcast we made that goal. Hey, we're gonna have you back when you hit 8 figure. Now I'm an 8 figure, and I'm thinking, okay, now what, right? So
Yeah.
it's so funny. Like, so you gotta like really understand your passion and what makes you happy, and live your life along with it. Like, don't forget to live your life. And yeah, I just understand this business and making money and selling products. It's got to be fun. It got to be something that you love. And I have built this brand solely out of my passion, because I knew that if I could do so much better in my hospital, because all the changes I have done in the radiology department, it went site-wide. Everybody loved what I did. So I said, you know what? After reading that Rich Dad Poor Dad book, I decided, well, why can't I just work for myself? And if I fail, I could just slap myself and I don't have anybody to blame with, right? And that was the easiest thing. So up until 25 years old, I did everything in my life that my family wanted me to do. I'm an IT guy. I love writing software. I wanted to create a SaaS company, right? But I couldn't, because we immigrated to America and I couldn't even afford a laptop. But I had to go become a healthcare worker because we needed that 40 grand. But after I did all of that and family said, then I started doing what I love to do. And then I did it to solve the huge problem that this big company will come in, charge 3x the price than they should be, provide the features 3x less than they should be, right? So that is where I saw an opportunity. I said, hey, there is an electronics product. I'm going to launch it, provide 3x more features, 3x less pricing. I'm going to do it better, the packaging than them, better value. And and let's see what happens. And I keep solving all the problems, and that will drive a success slowly but steady. Like, no one will become millionaire overnight. You got to work for it, right? And you got to feed in the fuel slowly and steady. You got to build this customer care. Like, quickly, I was providing customer care for my product when I was an MRI tech myself, right? So I started the text messaging service, a Google Voice, like that almost nobody was doing like 5 years ago. So I started it because I'm like, how am I going to answer email while I'm at the job, right? So if customer has a problem, I don't want them to write a negative review. I want them to reach out to me and give me an opportunity. So 5 years ago, I created an insert card that says, hey, you know what? No need to call. No need to call or email. If you have a quick question or something's not working, text us. And this is our Google Voice number. And I have Google Voice coming to my cell phone, while at the job. So if I got a message, I'm just texting, because once I put the patient in for 30 minutes, I have nothing to do while the scan is all being done. So that is how I got started. On my break, I would do a FaceTime with the people who was older. They don't know how to use my products. I have done everything I could to prevent from bad reviews are coming in. And this is all white hat. And now this year, all these Chinese black hat sellers are gone, instantly double the business. So that
Amazing.
is the big reward in doing it the right way. That was the hardest part for me to do. But now I don't have to reach out to the people to write the blog articles about my products. I don't have to reach out to the top influencers to make a video about me. They would purchase it and make a video because they think it is a good value for their audience. And that is what makes me more proud and happy.
Ankit, your story is absolutely one of the most inspirational that I've seen from entrepreneurs in this space. It isn't Amazon private label. It's a brand that you've grown, that you happen to sell on Amazon. And I love your beginnings, from your ice cream scoops to your electronics to your humble beginnings, and your hard work ethic is unparalleled. I really hope that people can see this and understand, because that opportunity is still here in Amazon private label. If you're willing to work and understand how the algorithm works, how to find products, how to put in the time and effort. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Brendan.
Dude, I'm looking forward to hanging out soon, and I'm sure we're going to get together. Thank you for joining us in the Inner Circle. It's an honor to have you here. You contribute so much just by being here. So thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Very welcome.